Hi guys, welcome back to the Kit and Krysta podcast, episode 26.
This is the one.
It is?
Yeah.
The one for what?
The one.
The one after
the
25?
one. Got it?
The one?
Good.
I don't have it.
Oh, no.
All right, what are we doing today? Today.
We've got some cool video game what-ifs.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about this.
I don't know what you've prepared. I prepared a couple that I feel like these could have almost come true. These almost happened.
Oh.
Yes.
So mine are very far in the realm of possibility.
Okay, then
So
we've
you
got...
have to stretch your imagination.
We've got two
to
different
really-
approaches to this thing.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting.
But I see where you're coming from. Like, these could be like, just like ships in the night things in history that could have happened.
Small changes could
Yeah.
have just completely changed the course of history.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. We are so excited. We launched new Patreon tiers earlier this month, and we have just been getting so many new
It's been wonderful
family
to
members
see.
to our Patreon family, and we are so excited to have all of you. Thank you to everyone that has joined us so far, and it's been really fun. Like, our Discord is like popping off these days.
It's a great place, yes.
It's so much fun. We did a really fun little like gameplay Mario Kart thing with some of the community members. Yeah, we've just been doing a ton of like fun stuff over there. So if you haven't checked it out yet, we encourage you to. It is patreon.com/KitandKrysta. And of course, the Patreon people, you're making this possible.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we now have our Superstars tier, which is very hands-on, helping us to create the content in a lot of ways. So if you have any complaints, please direct it to them.
It's not our fault. It's out of our hands. Just kidding. We actually...
No, please blame Krysta.
Hey! We've actually been having so much fun with the Superstars, and they've already been giving us like so much great advice. Like,
they're good.
Picking some cool thumbnails,
right?
And they actually were the ones that picked this "What If" segment for this episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, so it's been great. It's been really fun. They're very smart people, much smarter than you and I for sure.
Sad but true.
Sad but true.
Rats.
What else is going on?
It's been a busy couple weeks.
It's been a busy couple of weeks. We had a really fun video that went live that is us doing the Smash Home Run Challenge contest in real life.
And this is, of course, the first Super Kit and Krysta 64 episode.
Yes.
A lot of discussion about this new name.
Yeah, there's lovers of the name and haters of the name.
You're picking a side. You're not indifferent about the name, which I think is good. That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is better than confusion and indifference for sure, right? Which I think was maybe what happened with the old name, kind of like a meh throwaway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Super Kit and Krysta 64, we think is a great name. It's fun and zesty.
Right.
And kind of embodies like the spirit of the show, which is just like a lot of these sort of like random fun things that we cook up on the fly. It's really what it is.
Some people did say, why don't you just do Kit and Krysta Minute? And again, the answer, as always, is we did not want to get sued.
Yes,
which is probably what would have happened.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely don't want to get sued.
Great idea, but...
And don't tip off those lawyers, people. Let's keep this on the wraps, okay? We don't want to get shut down there. And we want to also like evolve from which was part of our wonderful History Nintendo Minute, and then like move forward, which is great.
Now, I have a bone to pick with you. You were very cross with me about how at the end of that video, I get to pelt you with baseballs.
I was upset with you because you weren't trying very hard.
Well, first of all, if you're upset with how this turns out, why don't you try harder to win so you can do it yourself?
That's my first complaint. Hard to win, but you were better than I was.
Well, then don't complain. My second complaint is... hitting a baseball, it's like, you're lucky if you hit it at all. Being able to like pinpoint accuracy, like pelt you, it's just not going to happen.
Because you were made fun of and teased last time when you had to put the pie in my face.
Right.
And people were saying that you were kind of like a chicken about it. Like you didn't
What, do you want me to put you in the hospital or something? Like, what is it?
Well, no. But
what do you want?
Don't hold back on account of me.
I got you good with one of them.
It definitely kind of hurt.
Yeah.
So if you really got hit in the face with a plastic baseball and
that's why I did tell you to cover your face.
I think it would hurt. So maybe don't do that.
Good.
And don't try to hit baseballs at people.
It's a good lesson for home.
It's not as like...
If you're playing along at home.
It looked so chintzy. Like it looked like it was not going to hurt because it was just this like a toddler's baseball.
Solid plastic. Pow!
But it kind of actually did.
Yeah.
So You did get me with one.
I did.
After a lot of like half-hearted efforts, though. Half-heartedly.
Let's go to the. I'm going to go to the batting cages. That's going to be your new hobby. You kept saying.
I really
Let's go.
want to. Let's go.
More dingers. More dingers in our future.
I could really use some help with my hand-eye coordination. Clearly, as judging from this video.
But the next episode of Super Kitten Krysta 64, I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
As the Vista King, the
You're
self-proclaimed.
the self-proclaimed.
You know what? We've moved beyond. It's no longer self-proclaimed. The world's decided this.
It's been proclaimed.
I put it out there and people said, yes, you are the Vista King. We bow to your greatnut of picking vistas.
You're on a vista.
Yes.
Judging the vistas. Would
Of
you
course.
say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have put a call out into the world, into the universe.
Right.
And we got some great submissions from all of you, sharing your great Xenoblade 3 vistas with us. And we're going to judge them.
Yeah.
And there'll be prizes.
What are the prizes? TBD.
Something good, though.
Let's see how good these vistas are
Not being
first.
hit by baseball.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's
Prizes
not
are
a prize.
based on the quality of the vistas.
You're going to get a prize.
No, I've been looking through the submissions. They're very impressive.
They're very impressive.
I've come up with my own criteria. Now, this might be controversial. Some people might have different criteria for rating vistas.
That's true.
I
What
have
is
my,
your
I have my own
criteria?
criteria. Well, I'm not going to spoil it here,
okay,
but I've got like 3 or 4 different things. I will
that you're
say
looking for?
One of them is controversial. I want a character in the shot. And some of the submissions we got do not have that. So unfortunately, that's going to be a goose egg for those people.
Oh no!
I mean, again, you can come up with your own criteria. This is my criteria as the Vista King. Okay?
Oh, wow, that's harsh.
Yeah.
This person's already like crumbling. Their
Yeah.
heart is breaking.
If I'm the Vista King, what are you? You're like the Vista.
I'm the Vista Queen.
Like a chess piece, like a pawn or
Hey!
a bishop.
No! A
I'm
queen.
running out of chess pieces that I know.
Knight.
Jester? No, it's not a jester.
That's not a.
You're the court jester of vistas.
I'm not the court jester. I definitely don't have the Vista. I might not have the eye that you do.
Well, you've submitted a vista.
I submitted a vista.
What if I just tear this to pieces?
It has people in it.
It does have people in it, so you're not getting a 0 there.
I'm gonna goose egg there.
At a minimum, you get a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just live in your Vista Kingdom. just a girl living in your world.
Vista King world.
In your
yeah.
Vista King world.
Well, as is everybody else.
Anyways, okay, so that's going to be the next Super
Yes.
Kitten Krysta
Look for it.
64
Yeah.
show, and it should be really fun. We did a really fun Pokemon reaction video to
Pokemon
the
Presents.
latest Pokemon
Yeah.
Presents.
We're talking about it in the
very early.
news. Well, that's the main takeaway here. Is this is a 6 a.m. event. We were up. We're going to be up again this week
We are?
for this Splatoon 3 Direct.
Oh, I didn't think we were going to do that live.
Oh, we are.
We are?
We absolutely are. Set your alarms.
Why? I
Now,
don't want to.
I saw some people that we would call friends who are on the East Coast
Who
saying,
complained about being 9 o'clock?
I got to be up by 9 o'clock for this. Well, guess what, friends? It's 6 o'clock for us, which means it's really like 5:30 to get up and try and like slap some
Yeah, you
sense into
gotta-
yourself to be
You
coherent
need at least 15
on a
minutes.
live stream.
I really didn't think this was going to be live.
Oh, it absolutely
I
is
thought
gonna
this was
be
going to be live to tape.
No. Get
When
ready.
did we decide this?
I decided it for
You
us.
decided it
Yeah.
for me.
Now I said it on a
wasn't-
podcast that we've released, so
I wasn't
see you there.
part of this decision making. You're on your own, dude.
What? Fine.
Really?
I'll do it solo, yeah.
Seriously? You would do
will.
it solo? You would not do it solo, you
I
liar.
I guess we're going to find out.
You-
By the time this podcast airs, the thing will have happened, so I guess we'll see.
Yes, I
Yeah.
guess we're doing that. Fun.
Yeah. That's a big direct, though. I'm very excited to see what's in there.
Better be good.
Is this the most high-pressure direct, like, ever?
No.
It's like make or break for a game?
Yes.
It might be.
Well, we know nothing about this game.
I mean, normally a title direct's like, all right, we're just going to recap what you know, and here's like two little
no, we
tidbits.
literally know nothing about this game. They've
Right.
shown us
Under
exact same footage from
month
Splatoon
ago.
2. Almost, I mean, it was obviously different footage,
Right.
but it looked exactly the same. There's, under a month to go.
Now, whenever I say this, there is a certain category of like the competitive Splatoon community who gets cross with me for saying this.
Oh, because you think
Who's
that
like, no,
don't mess with a good thing.
You can't
the
believe how much
formula.
new stuff they've shown. This frame's different. This frame's just like, look, I'm a more casual player here.
Yeah.
All right.
So is a lot of
I want change. I want to
play.
spice it up.
Yeah.
I want to know more.
I
And
wanna
right now
see-
for me, there's not enough.
Yeah, I feel like I need a lot more than some small adjustments to the map and an extra weapon.
The meta has changed.
Oh.
Do you understand? You don't understand.
I do understand.
You don't understand.
Why are you telling me this like that? Why are you looking at me with all squinty? And like,
you just don't understand that the meta has changed, okay?
I need the single player mode to be
good,
shared with me in great detail. That's going to either sell me on the game or not sell me on the game. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there a world where you don't get Splatoon 3?
Could be.
Wow. That's interesting.
If it looks exactly the same as Splatoon 2 and there's nothing different at all about it, why would I bother?
All right.
Just saying.
Guess we'll see.
We'll see, yeah. We also did, like I was mentioning before, a really fun playthrough of the new Mario Kart 8 DLC, Wave 2.
That's right.
We got schooled by our Patreon friends.
Yeah, we asked them to join us, and they really just tossed us around.
They did. It was really mean. You guys were mad.
I was like, why am I going so much slower than everybody else?
Oh, this game sucks.
This game's broken.
This game is broken. My card is broken.
I can't believe it.
But it was just because we were bad.
Yeah.
That was fun though.
Yeah.
It was really fun, and yeah, we were
like
having
those tracks.
a great time.
Those are fun tracks.
Those tracks are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely were not as memorable as Wave 1 tracks, but they were nice.
Says who?
Says me.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Fine.
What is yours?
So definitive about it.
Just a little bit, you know. It was nice, but it's like, wait, what are they again?
All right. I guess you compare, you know, New York, New York, yeah, Tokyo.
Yeah, Paris.
Tokyo and Paris to New York and Sydney.
Yeah, I see, I already forgot about Sydney.
New York, though. We have a lot of people in Australia who are going to be very upset with you for saying that.
About the country, the city, or the country of Australia.
I can't believe what you just said about the country of Australia and its wonderful people. I cannot believe that.
I did not say that. I just said I forgot about that track.
You are in big trouble.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I didn't say that. I said I forgot about the track.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Next thing, you're going to say something disparaging about Vegemite. Have you ever had that? We had that. We had that
together.
We did a taste test.
It wasn't bad. It was pretty good.
I can't handle Vegemite, unfortunately.
Well, now you've disparaged
I
them.
tried it. I gave it a good shot.
It was salty.
It's very salty. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste.
I like the Tim Tams, though.
Oh, yeah. There was an obsession when we would have a global meeting at Nintendo. Nintendo of Australia would always bring Tim Tams, which are these little, like, chocolate-covered cookie things.
They're good.
And you would do a thing called the Tim Tam Slam.
The coffee.
Where you bite off the ends, and then you, like, use it like a straw to
slurp the coffee.
And then you eat the cookie.
It's good.
It was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I mean, that shows what like the dire straits we were in these meetings.
Yeah.
Where it's like hour 9 of a 15-hour meeting.
Slam could have been like a shot of vodka.
I need to do my 18th Tim Tam Slam to get through this. I just need to feel something. My legs have gone numb.
Your brain has gone numb.
My brain is like oozed out of my ear.
Yeah, pretty much. At that point, it's very dicey.
Yeah.
The Tim Slam is the
We've run out of Tim Tams by like day 1.5 of this 4-day meeting.
People would like hoard the Tim Tams, and then we'd be no more Tim Tams. And then what?
Sponsor us, Tim Tams. Hashtag future sponsor.
I eat Tim Tams.
Yeah. Those you can't get those in the U.S. We can't do it.
Yes, you can. Oh,
I haven't seen them.
World Market?
So all these are videos that are out or coming out soon. Can you believe that?
It's a lot.
We've been very busy. We're also continuing with our little unboxing.
Yes, the unboxings are really fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's more stuff in the fun box that was labeled PS3 Wii.
That's what was inside. Why are you looking at me like that?
I know, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
There's fun stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's more fun. At the end of this little series of PS3 Wii box unboxings, there was a fun little surprise in there.
At the bottom?
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was now. I'm going to have to watch the last part.
Yeah, I liked it.
Get caught up.
That was a really good surprise.
Oh, good.
It's like, wow.
I can't wait to be excited again. Wow.
You forgot your own video?
I forgot what was in it. My own box of my own property.
Oh, no.
My belongings.
Maybe you permanently damaged your brain from
too many Tim Tams slamming.
Too many global PR meetings and slamming those Tim Tams.
One too many. You know what they say.
Short-circuited out that brain stem there. Okay. In our story time today.
We got some fun stuff.
Are we going to move to story time
now? Yes.
Okay. In our story time today, we're talking about office pranks.
We have often made Nintendo out to be a strict, nose to the grindstone kind of place.
Yes.
which it often was, but we found our ways to entertain ourselves.
We did, especially in the Redwood City office.
By laughing at the expense of others through these pranks.
Exactly. The thing that was really fun about the Redwood City office, and we talked about it a little bit, is it had such a different vibe from like the headquarters in Redmond and really any other, in my opinion, any other Nintendo like corporate office.
Yes.
Like the Redmond office was much larger, but they were also much more uptight.
Right.
And you just never felt like you could have any fun at all there.
And it's funny because everybody said that, like from the top to the bottom. Everybody was like, gosh, I wish this place would lighten up. And it's like, well, then who's making it so uptight?
Yeah. Even
let's all just agree to have some fun. Yes.
To like laugh a little.
Right.
But no, it would be like pin drop silent in there.
It's like a library.
Yeah. And everyone was really serious. Yeah. No one talked to each other.
We have to whisper if you're having a conversation.
Yeah. And then everyone would just like sit very still at their desk and just like click away at the keyboard. And you're like, hello? Are we still alive, people?
Yeah.
So it was like such like a fun, different dynamic in the smaller, just like the smaller, closer knit, I would say, Redwood City office. There was only about 100 of us in that office at the like the max amount. We were all, kind of compressed into this little smaller space too. So we kind of had to like hang out with each other because there was you can't really be quiet because you're like right next to something else. Yeah. And I think we all just got kind of close too because we were all part of this like satellite office, and so close to like be friends in real life. Like obviously we've gone on to do our own thing, and then like we've stayed friends with almost everybody in that office. Most of them have moved on, but we still like hang out and get together. And I think this dynamic that we had in the office that we're going to talk about is like kind of what built this. It was very immature stuff that we were doing, but it kind of like built our like our friendship foundation. Right. Which is really funny that you need to do that as like an adult working in the corporate world.
Now, we have written down 5 pranks. Yes. Somehow, I was only involved in one of these. Explain why I was left out of the other 4. I don't even know what some of these are. One of these, the one in the middle, says poopy chair. Do I even want to know what that means? Were you involved in this?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
To the people that were part of these pranks, I know you guys listen to this podcast, so let me just tell you that I love you all for making it so much fun for me. Well, I think at first you were kind of involved. Then you just kept getting promoted.
What's that got to do with it?
And then you became like the boss. No. And then everyone got like nervous about No, I'm serious.
All right, fine.
That's why you were not involved in Poopy Chair, unfortunately.
Was this like fraternity hazing or something? No. Like, do I need to alert the authorities?
It was pretty immature.
Do I have a moral obligation to like call the police?
I was a little nervous. I'm like, am I going to get in trouble for this? Because it was pretty disruptive. Like we would do stuff like, we would like run around in that office, like down the hall and like laugh and scream. And I was shocked that nobody came out.
So you and your friends were streaking through the office. Great.
Streaking.
Well, let's begin here.
Okay. The first one is one that you
is me. I mean,
and it involved me being the butt of the joke.
This had the most emotional trauma built into it,
and I did not appreciate.
You were the target.
I was the target, and I was like really upset. Yeah. Really, truly upset.
So this was.
I might be a little mad.
This was pretty early on. This was maybe like 2010 or maybe 2011, where we had started to become pretty good friends. Yeah. And you were on a business trip. Mm-hmm. And of course, I mean, I'm like, why should I even bother coming to the office? Like, who am I going to talk to? I'm just like some RPG like NPC, just like aimlessly wandering around, just like.
You're like running into a wall.
Yeah, I'm like doing nothing. So I'm just aimlessly shambling around this office. I see like, there's an empty office that looks exactly like mine and is emptied out. Like I can't remember if somebody.
No one moved into that office.
It's like somebody had left and they just cleaned it out and there was nobody who moved in yet. So I was like, oh. I got a big idea here. Mm-hmm. So I took a picture of this empty office and I sent it to you and I said, hey, wanted you to know it's my last day at Nintendo today.
So mean.
It's been great getting to know you.
Goodbye forever.
Maybe we can see each other in the future.
I was so
Happy
upset.
trails.
I was like on a business trip, so I was already very like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling great, honestly. Like I was like sort of like already like annoyed at something, like prickled by something, and I get this weird message from you, and I was like, what the heck is happening? I feel like both of our worst fears was the other person leaving.
That's true.
Like that was like not that's not funny. It was like it's actually like a deep-seated fear.
Right.
Like whenever something bad happens, it would just be like, I wonder if she's gonna quit.
Except one of us tried to leave multiple times and one of us didn't.
Let's talk about that later.
So maybe the fears were more founded for one than the other.
Why did you do this to me?
It was funny.
It was not funny.
If I was actually leaving, why would I send you a picture of an empty office? That's weird.
That's true. Now that I think about it, that is kind of weird.
Yeah,
You would just send me like a note.
Because a lot of the offices looked a little bit different, but this one was like, this is a mirror image.
Was it right next to your
No, it was like, it was down the hall. Yeah, I was like,
you
wow.
had just found this random empty office?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really mad. But you didn't keep it going very long. I
No.
think I was so mad at you.
I could tell you were like distraught.
I was pretty
like, all right,
distraught.
I shouldn't keep
And then
this
you were
going.
like, just kidding.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
But it was only like 20 minutes.
And we all had a good laugh.
You had a good laugh. Yeah, no, you didn't keep it up. I think you could have pushed it further and really antagonized
Well, that would have
me.
been mean.
And that would have been kind of mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
And then I take the day off, the day I know you're back in the office. I actually clean out my real office.
Now
How far could I take?
You
I actually quit just to prank you.
Quit.
Yeah. How far could I take this?
No. It was scary.
Just a prank, bro.
That's mean to like leave when your best friend is on a business trip and then come back to see that the person's left and never gonna talk to you again. That is so mean.
Were you ever actually friends at all if that happened? No.
I don't think you are.
No,
yeah,
clearly
you're not. You're not best friends
you're
at
not.
all.
Yeah.
You're enemies. You're best enemies. You're worst enemies.
It was all just in your head. All right, our next one is called "Pants Are Ruined."
This is
now
my favorite.
I've heard of this one. That phrase became kind of a meme in the office, but
Hashtag pants are ruined.
I don't recall the exact story. So please, let's have it.
So this one, I don't think she'd mind if I.
Absolutely not.
Okay, this one involves our favorite and your favorite producer Stephanie.
Yes.
And our favorite and your favorite mysterious trainer Mike.
Oh yeah.
So we had a pretty tight-knit circle at that, we still do. But again, we used to go on a lot of these business trips together, which was really fun. So we would go on like, we'll go, do events. We'll like volunteer to be like event staff or people from different departments because Mysterious Trainer Mike was actually not even on the comms team with us.
Yeah.
He was in like a completely different department, but we'd all be able to get together at like E3s or PAX or trips or whatever. So we were all on this business trip together, working an event together, and those are always fun because you would, hang out and have dinner and just like, do fun things afterwards. And we got a hold of producer Stephanie's phone.
Oh boy.
This was a lesson to all. Have a real password on your phone, okay? Because if your password is 1234, you're gonna get pranked.
No, so that was her password then.
That was her password.
Is that still her password now?
I don't know. Maybe we should try getting
We should steal her phone and try and find out.
Let's see if she learned her lesson all these years ago. And so she's left her phone on the table. Obviously, we're gonna take her phone and hack it. Obviously, because she did not have a real password.
I don't know if that's really hacking.
It's hacking when you.
All right.
I mean, the phone was still password protected. Okay. We just guessed it. We hacked it.
Okay.
You see. So then we get into her phone, and we were like, awesome. We're gonna post something on her social media page. I think it was this was like back in the day when Facebook was popular.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna post on Facebook, like just on her wall, like some ridiculous post or whatever. And we came up with, on a work trip, forgot all underwear, hashtag pants are ruined.
Got him.
Really funny.
Now, how long was this up before she realized?
It was up for a long time.
Is it still there?
Did you ever delete? I don't know. I should ask her.
Immortalized.
I don't think she didn't. She wasn't mad. Like
No.
it was funny. But that became like the running joke for like 10 years later. Like afterwards, we were still like joking about hashtag pants are ruined for like literally for years later, which was amazing. And it was really funny. But this is a lesson to all you kids out there. don't forget to password protect your phone.
True.
Because your friends will write things about your pants on
All
your
right.
social media page.
So next is the aforementioned poopy chair, which I just dying to hear about.
Okay, so this one involved one of our social media managers. She has since obviously has left Nintendo as well, but we we did this thing where we melted on a plate.
Oh no!
This was it a Snicker? I think it was a Snickers bar.
Like a Baby Ruth or something.
Yeah, it was like a Snickers bar, or a Baby Ruth. We did like the 10 seconds in the microwave. And it actually smelled really good. Like the chocolate, the melted chocolate smelled really nice. And we left it on her chair. We were like, oh, let's make sure she doesn't sit on it because that's really mean. But we just left it on our chair.
Then why'd you put it on her chair?
She would see it before she sat on it.
Are you sure?
I was her neighbor. I was her next door neighbor, so I was watching. But she actually got a little bit mad.
Oh, really?
For reals.
But so did she know it was candy?
She definitely knew it was candy because you can't, like, it looked like candy still.
Okay.
But she was like, you guys wasted a perfectly good piece of candy.
You can still eat it.
I'm like, you can still eat it.
It only got microwaved,
Oh my gosh, it was so funny that was the reaction though. Because it was not like you melted chocolate to look like poopy and you left it in my chair and now I'm mad at you. Like, what the heck? But it was more like, I could have eaten that piece of candy, like you jerk. Now you've ruined it. Now I can't eat this candy anymore. It was such a perfect reaction. But yeah, that was pretty funny. This was, I think Pants Are Ruined was the start
that inspired a whole run
of office pranks.
Of pants ruining inspired.
There's other ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other ones are not pants related.
The balloon office.
The balloon office one was really funny. This is, again, someone had left on vacation or like was gone on a business trip or something. Yeah. And we were like, great time for us to prank this person and like mess with this person's office. And so we blew up like, I want to say like...
This is high effort.
We filled the entire office with balloons.
It's a lot of balloons.
Like, he came back and it was like floor-to-ceiling windows for these offices. Like, you cannot see into it was just balloons.
Who's got the time to blow up a million balloons? Did. Oh my God.
That's why I was like, no, we're going to get in trouble. We have not worked for many hours because we've been sitting around blowing up balloons. I think we had a pump.
Oh, okay.
Like a bicycle pump.
I see.
Yeah. Entire office.
For you and all those balloon animals you were always making during your breaks? Just you in the break room just like, hey, can I make you a turtle? I've been practicing my turtle.
It's like a child's birthday party.
You don't need to wear the clown nose when you're in the office, okay?
Wear you a hat. Yeah. You can make a balloon hat. So that was really funny. And then this last prank was one that we did to mysterious trainer Mike, who really loved V8s, which is disgusting, first of all.
I didn't know this about him.
He really likes, I don't know if he still drinks V8, but he always would drink a V8 and eat a hard-boiled egg every morning. And I'm like, what are you, like 80 years old? What's wrong with you? But we got free V8 though in the office, remember?
Big perk.
Big perk.
Huge
we had like
perk.
a drink fridge.
Yeah.
And that was,
I mean, hey, that's what HR would tell people when they needed to seal a deal. I need you to sign on the dotted line. Hey,
you get a free
I don't
V8.
tell this to everybody, but we got that free V8. So.
That's exciting.
Done.
Free. Some of them are like spicy.
Yeah. Oh wow.
What is a V8? It sounds gross.
It's vegetable juice.
I don't like it.
I think it's like
it's
mostly tomatoes.
It's basically like a Bloody Mary without the alcohol.
I feel like I had a V8 like when I was very young and I saw like a commercial for it and I forced my mom to buy one and I was like, oh, this is terrible, and just dumped it out.
I think my mom tried to get me to drink it because it was healthy.
Yeah.
But then it tasted bad, so I didn't like it.
Okay.
Anyways, but some people do like it, including Mysterious Trainer Mike. And so we were like, great, we're going to fill his entire office with V8 cans. But we didn't want to waste it, okay? We're not wasting the V8. So we had to it was not me. Someone had to actually drink them. It was a long, long prank.
These were empty cans?
Yeah. So it was like a 2-month setup. Like, before he left, we were, like, collecting the cans.
Why couldn't you just use full cans and then just put them back when you were done?
I don't think they're supposed to be out of the fridge, right?
I don't know.
Well,
whatever. Okay.
They were empty.
So you had a million empty cans.
But we were, like, stockpiling these cans. Like, every time someone would drink the V8, we'd be like, put it in this box. Until we had, like, 20 boxes of empty V8 cans. And then we stacked them very carefully into his, like, from the outside going, or inside going out. And so, again, it was like just that all you could see was V8 cans. And then when he opened his office door, he just like...
Oh, it tipped over?
All of it.
Oh, that's annoying.
It was really funny.
Was he mad?
No. Oh. So funny. I think for a long time he kept like some of the V8 cans on his desk as a memento of the prank because it was so funny.
Who's the joke on though? You just drank a pallet of V8.
Not me. I didn't drink them. I was helping the collection effort.
You were in charge of this.
I was just like keeping the cans in a box under my desk.
You're making everybody else drink this dirty V8? Come on.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh, that was a good time. But again, it really it was the difference between those offices. Like, there would never be V8 can pranks or pans are ruined at the Redmond office. Are you kidding me?
Oh, Reggie once put a whoopee cushion under me in a big meeting. No, it didn't happen.
I was like, really?
I could see him happening.
I can kind of see him doing that. Like, he would.
Reggie would do it.
He would do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, we were never, like, we always were close, as an office. We never, got really mad at each other for these pranks, and somehow we didn't get in trouble for these pranks either. Like, I feel like there was the head of our office was not. It wasn't like he was far away, couldn't see what we were doing.
We were mostly unsupervised,
tackling around the hallway. Like we had these Mario Karts. Do you remember drive those Mario Karts around the office? Yeah, people just drive it around.
Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah, so I will miss those things about working in an office, a small office like that, with people that you genuinely loved and were friends with and could do fun things with like this. Yeah. And yeah, it was great. It was really fun. I want to see if anyone else works in an office where this is the type of environment that you have.
Yeah,
do you guys prank each other? Do you... Now I see all these things on TikTok of corporate offices, and they seem to be doing stuff like this too. Yeah. So maybe it still exists.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to prank you here one day. I'm going to do the paint can under the doorway, and you just walk through.
Like Home Alone?
Yeah. Well, not like a home. I'm not gonna have you step on a nail or something, but
just drop a bunch of tacks.
No, it's like dump water on you or something.
Tack in my chair?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
You wouldn't even hit me with a baseball. Jeez. You wouldn't do any of that. You put a whoopee cushion in my chair. That'd be pretty funny, actually.
Whoopee cushions are good, okay?
Pants are good?
Yeah. I know.
Poopy chair? We can recreate poopy chair here in the studio?
Poopy chair.
All right.
On to something very serious.
Yes.
This episode is sponsored by Slick Deals.
Yay!
Thank you, Slick Deals.
Thank you, Slick Deals, for sponsoring this episode. That's right. Slick Deals is a pretty cool app and browser extension that lets you get really good deals on your shopping online. So you can just download the extension, and it just keeps track of all the coupons, and then you can see if there's a deal out there for something that you're eyeing.
Yeah, last time I got the Stream Deck, which has come in very handy. Got a nice little fat discount on that using Slick Deals. I did.
You got some, and it was really fast for you too, right?
Oh, I got that super fast.
You got that super fast. Yeah, this time I'm using this thing that they have called Deal Alerts. So I've been eyeing two things to help us with some of our vlogging that we're doing. Like we were shooting our Game Boy camera tour of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And what you guys didn't see, you did see some bloopers, but what you didn't see was us struggling with all of the cables and our mics.
We don't have wireless mics.
Yeah, so I've been eyeing wireless mics and also a nice gimbal for our GoPro that we use when we vlog to have just better quality footage.
When your hands get the shakes.
Yeah, when we were walking down to Pier 39 and you're the seals though. So I set up some deal alerts for those two items. There's already a few that I've been eyeing.
Right.
I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on, but I want to see if I could get a little bit more of a discount on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yes, I always love with the browser extension when you have something in the cart and it's there might be a coupon, and you click it and it goes boom, 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 boom through all the available coupons. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it's hey, they're trying.
At least it's there.
It beats me just punching in these codes and it's oh, what is this?
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to shop anyway, you might as well, right?
Right.
We'll put all the links in the description as usual for you guys to go click on the link and get that browser extension downloaded or get the app and start some money saving shopping of your own.
Get a deal.
Yes.
All
right. Moving on to our Never a Minute segment.
Well, here we go.
This is our great what if.
This is exciting. Don't look.
Yours typed out really. I thought it was two each. No.
Well, again, we might have the same thing, so I've prepared a third.
Oh shoot.
And these are also interesting. I might just do all three.
All right.
But why don't you go first?
Okay. My first one
now, as you were saying, this is more fantastical.
Yeah, mine is not like, I don't
Yeah.
think this would be based in reality at all.
Right.
It's just like a totally like...
This is like, what if a GameCube could fly sort of
Yeah.
thing? What if, right?
What if, though?
Yeah.
What if?
Makes you think. Think about it. Follow the money.
As it flies away from your house. So my first one is, what if the Super Mario franchise, what if Mario was an M-rated game?
Oh.
What would that be like for the franchise? What would that do to the gameplay? What would Mario look like? What would that be? I mean, it could be
recoiling in horror at this whole idea.
It doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be like Mario holds a gun now, but it's M-rated now. So what does that entail?
That is kind of a genre of fan art that you see of like, what if we took Mario Brothers and made it real?
Not real. It doesn't have to be real.
Well, it's like, oh, I jumped on a turtle and it went splat. Oh, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But even the whole like realistic Mario, I don't like looking at.
Scary.
There was around the time I started, there was this fan art of like the very realistic Mario.
Yeah, you can see like all his beard.
Right, and he still had the same proportions, but it was
disturbing.
It was grotesque.
It was pretty disturbing.
And I was walking around the office, and somebody who I really didn't expect to know about this had it printed out at her desk. And she was kind of like an older woman who I think was in like operations or something. And I was like, why do you have this? And she's like, I don't know. He just looks like a creep. I like it. I go, okay. Great.
See, some people want the hyper realism, but I was thinking like that is pretty funny though.
It's weird.
It's very weird. But I was thinking like, what if like it was like a horror game?
Oh.
Like what if Mario became like a Resident Evil type of game? Like it doesn't have to be like all out blood, gore, like nudity, curse words, pointing a gun in your face. But what if it was like psychological thriller? Like you never saw Bowser. He was like a shadow that like would like come and like, I don't know, like spook you or something. Okay. I don't know. Like what if the levels were like super creepy and dark and kind of had like the Five Nights at Freddy feel to it.
You a big fan of that series?
No, I'm not actually.
Why did you say that?
Because I'm just thinking of that type of
All
horror.
right. Yeah.
What if?
Would you even play that game?
I'd be pretty curious about it. I mean, I feel like that would be so interesting because that was a game that was so many people's like first experience playing a video game.
Yeah.
So what if their first experience was like the super mature experience? Yeah. I guess maybe you wouldn't let like a kid play it.
Yeah.
Or if you were a kid, you would have like a completely different view of video games moving forward. But what would that be like?
A lot of people say like, oh, Mario's good because it's a non-violent game. But if you think about it, it is kind of violent.
It's pretty violent.
I mean, he's taking out a bunch of these enemies, setting them on fire or squishing them.
Yeah. And Bowser too. He's setting you on fire. You're falling into like a
lava. Right.
Yeah. So it's not like it's just like, we're all just making lemonade together or something.
Okay.
But like, I do wonder about that. It's like everyone has like this memory of Mario or video games being like real cutesy and kind of happy or whatever. But like, what if like everyone's first experience was a little bit like dark and mature? Like, what would that do to the history and people's like your own history with video games?
Wow.
Would that change everything?
Everything.
Would it turn you off?
Like,
I
would not want to play this game.
But would it make you not want to play any game? Because that was your first experience?
You could wonder, would that be popular in the first place?
That's true.
And would it be the game everybody was playing?
But what if it was the only option?
That's how I became a Genesis kid.
That would be an alternate universe where
I become number one Sonic fan.
You love Sonic because he was the more happy,
more wholesome,
like
me. Yeah.
Right. Like you.
All right. I'm going to do all three. I've got three here. Well, unless you happen to copy mine, which based on the first one sounds like you won't. I'll let you pick. So the one is about Pokemon.
Okay.
One is about the Xbox, and one is about Nintendo in general. I'll let you pick.
Let's do the Xbox one.
All right. So what if Microsoft gave up on the Xbox before it even came out? Because Xbox released these very good documentaries about their history.
That's true, yeah.
And I strongly recommend these.
Those are really good.
Because they are very honest. And with the original Xbox, there were a lot of moments where they're like, oh, we can't do this, or this is going to blow up in our face, or the thing didn't work. So it's really seemed like there were a lot of moments where they almost didn't go through with it. You know, where they had announced it, they had it out there, and they could have just pulled the plug.
And it's not their only product.
Yeah, so who cares? Yeah, we still got Windows, we got Excel. We're raking it in with this Excel bucks. Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Yes. My gosh. So it's an interesting what if of like, you know, now we have like, oh, we got the big three. It's like, what if them just poof, gone?
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't have so many like advances though in video games without Xbox.
I think like all of the online stuff that they were pushing,
online,
that would have had a much rockier. I mean, not on PC, that stuff still would have happened, but like
on console,
if you had just had Sony and Microsoft trying to figure out online, or Sony and Nintendo figuring out online,
me? That would not work.
I mean, Sony mostly eventually got it to work, but
it was because Microsoft was like
pushing them to do it,
pushing them forward,
right,
or even like any sort of like, I feel like what about like achievements, like Microsoft achievements. That would be something that probably wouldn't exist as widespread, trophies and all that stuff.
I mean, there were also like a lot of big developers like Bungie with Halo or Epic with Gears of War who were a little bit more PC focused. It feels like those series might have just stayed on PC
forever
for a while, or until, you know, like consoles got more powerful. So it's like, wow, those games that we associate as classic console games just wouldn't be
on a console
the way we know. They probably would still exist, but not in the way that we know them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's so interesting. Or like voice chat.
That's what I'm saying about these online features. Just completely different, or maybe just not happen at all.
I don't think they wouldn't happen as much. I mean, we could be even waiting now to see some of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I think also, you know, there was that stretch where there was so much pressure with mobile games that I think would have been really hard without another big player in the industry being like, no, we are going to make these consoles.
Yeah.
If it was just Nintendo and Sony, that could have been a tough uphill battle.
That's true. You would have given into the forces.
Right.
You know, of like the iPad or whatever.
Yeah, just been like, well, we give up, or this is impossible, or they're eating our lunch. I don't know.
Well, there's so many things. It's like, oh, the consoles are dead or whatever.
Right.
And it helped to have like just like more bodies on the console side to like help make the argument that this is an important part of like the industry or whatever. So that's a really good
I mean, you do wonder like if they drop out, is there some other company that takes their place?
Right.
And I was trying to think, I was like,
is there?
I don't know.
They would have to make hardware.
Is again like, if you think of something like an Amazon, like back then they were not big enough to do it. Like maybe you know, later on they would have tried something, but in that moment, is there a company that would have just jumped in and been like, oh, we want to try this?
Right.
I don't know. I had a hard time. Maybe people, if you're watching or listening,
let us know. Who else would have been the sort of equivalent, and maybe there would be a different like top big three or whatever.
Right, back in like the early 2000s. I don't know.
I can't think of anybody. Samsung?
No, they So I don't know. So I just think I think overall like the industry is just not as big as it is now. So it's got a lot of like really negative repercussions.
Yeah.
For them,
for sure.
not joining.
Yeah.
So
and I think they pushed the industry with like big strides in like the online side and all that stuff. So good thing we have Microsoft.
Makes it think. All right.
Okay.
What's your next one?
My second one is, what if The Legend of Zelda was created and developed by Hideo Kojima?
Okay. Interesting.
Like, what if Miyamoto never dreamed up the story of The Legend of Zelda?
Well, Link would talk, and boy, would he talk.
Oh my gosh.
He wouldn't shut up.
He would have so much to say. He would have a lot to say. He would. Yeah, but what would that franchise feel like? What would it look like?
You know, it's interesting because the original Metal Gear games, you know, they still had story, but they were very, like, gameplay focused too.
Right.
So, and it's not like they were that different from games of that era.
Right.
But, you know, I think of maybe around Ocarina of Time, you could have seen a huge change to that more cinematic kind of experience.
Yeah.
Where I don't know how much the gameplay would have changed, honestly, but it would have been just a lot more story, a lot more world building, a lot more dialogue, obviously.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it would have more of like almost like a Final Fantasy type of feeling to it, where there could even be more installments and more spin-offs and more just like more character development. I feel like the world of Zelda is like pretty big if you think about it, but we only really focus on like Ganon, Zelda, and Link.
Yeah.
Usually there's a couple of the side characters here and there, but you never seem to get a lot of depth from that. It's very focused on like just the gameplay part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if he would just do so much more with like that world overall and what that would look like, you know? Would there be a Zelda MMO under Kojima? Maybe.
Wow. That's an interesting one. It's not as crazy far of a stretch.
Yeah.
With some of the games.
I feel like
of those eras.
Exactly. Like he's in the same era.
Yeah.
But he has just such a different vision for like, I mean, he has a very distinctive style for his games. So I just wonder, like, what that would look like, and if I would want to play it.
Yeah,
I think I would want to play it. I think I would want to play it.
I would definitely want to play his take on Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, or even like Majora's Mask. Could he get real creepy with Majora's Mask?
But as we get into like some of the more current, like, would I want to try his take on Breath of the Wild? Not really.
Yeah. I think it's more so the story part of it. Right. Would Breath of the Wild even exist if he took over? Maybe not.
No, but I think, well, like, what kind of Zelda would he have made with those tools at his disposal?
Exactly.
I would not have preferred that. As a person who has played Death Stranding, I would not have preferred that game.
There is like a postman in Zelda that he could really take that to another.
Kojima Presents Tingle. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Kojima Presents world premiere at the
TGAs. How grotesque would that be? Ugh, I don't want to think about it.
I like how mine just like give you a visceral, awful reaction. I think these are very interesting though.
All right. So you can choose the Nintendo one or the Pokemon one?
Pokemon.
All right. What if in the 3DS generation, when things were going bad, Pokemon just said, "Hey, Nintendo, we're tired of you struggling. We're going multi-platform."
Oh! Yikes.
Now, this is one of the ones that I think maybe could have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we never know for sure, but I always sense that there was some tension.
There's definitely tension.
In that era where it's like, hey, we're Pokemon. We're still selling tens of millions of copies, and you're struggling with this hardware. So what's the deal? What are you going to do?
Yeah, and there is this like... You know, sure, Nintendo has a dynamic where it like owns part of the IP or whatever. Like it has like this,
but it doesn't completely control it.
It doesn't completely control it. And then every time we would see like the big execs together, it would be such.
Well, I was gonna say, so yeah, the E3 where they introduced Pokemon X and Y. I saw an interaction between Mr. Iwata and Mr. Ishihara of the Pokemon, and that was the longest, deepest bow by Mr. Iwata I've ever seen a person do.
Exactly. Yeah. There is like a deep respect and sort of I feel like there's not eggshells, but there's like this thing where it's like
there's a dance.
There is a dance.
Yeah.
It's like a very strategic like I know
we're sizing each other up.
This is worth to you and I. So we got to do this.
Yeah.
We got to do this dance, It's really interesting.
And around that time, Pokemon was starting to dabble with some mobile games. And it was like, is this just where this is headed? Where they just say like...
See you later?
Yeah, we're not going to make games for your hardware anymore. And we're going to either go mobile or we're going to release it on different hardware. And you'll still make some money off of it because you own part of it. But this is what we're doing, and you're going to live with it.
And I don't know what the terms of the business deal is, and if they had the...
Is it set in stone that you cannot do this? I don't know.
Did they write that down in like 1885 or something? And they can't get out of it, or what?
Yeah, but I definitely got nervous when they started releasing mobile games. It just seemed like things were going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and then you could see them sort of opening up for like a lot of other, like even beyond, video games. Pokemon started to do so much more in like entertainment.
Yeah, they were getting way bigger at a time when Nintendo was not.
Yeah, so you kind of felt like that power dynamic was like shifting to the other side, where they could definitely have more chips on their side and could just do whatever they wanted, which is, all fair. But I definitely had that sense too, where like, gosh, they have a lot going for them. Even if let's say video game just like fails or whatever, and there's just not a viable industry anymore, like they still have like so much stuff with like the TCG stuff, the anime, the like all of their merch, like all of the Pokemon centers, like they would be fine, but like with Nintendo would not be as fine, you know? So
so I've wrote down some other implications, which is, you know, A, the stock tanks, and it opens up for some sort of an acquisition situation.
That's true.
Whether you want it or not. Hostile acquisition, hostile takeover.
Takeovers?
I don't know if the stock tanks, that's not good. You know, I think it would maybe reinforce the need to, you know how Switch kind of consolidated the hardware, or excuse me, the console and the handheld side of the business.
Yeah.
They might just be like, we need to do this now because this whole dual strategy is not working.
It's not working.
So do they rush to get the Switch out and just be like, we need to pull the plug on this whole
what
generation?
What if it was bad?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, but it could have driven them to think this way.
That's
of like,
true.
this whole thing we're doing right now, we need to stop that
and
tomorrow.
We need to like expedite the next thing.
Right. I think also, you know, does that push Nintendo to put more of its games on mobile and be more aggressive in the mobile space of like, well, if Pokemon's doing it, maybe we should try it.
Right.
Instead of this like, we dipped half a toe in. And
or like the straight up denial that happened with mobile games at the beginning of mobile games popularity when Nintendo's like, we're never putting our IP there ever. And then like 3 years later, it was like, just kidding, Mario's coming to iPhone.
Right. But the big question, I wasn't able to know definitively, like, does this make Pokemon bigger or more successful if they do this? I tended to think maybe not.
I feel like it wouldn't make that much of a difference for some reason.
Because I think they eventually landed on a good balance of, you know, the core RPG games are on Switch, or on a console, and then they have all these other mobile games that are that are made for mobile. And because if you tried to translate one of those to mobile, you'd need to really either like go crazy with the microtransactions. You couldn't sell, you know, a $50 game on a phone. That's not possible.
That's just not possible.
You just need to completely change what those games are, and I don't know how well they would work.
I do wonder though, like, what if they went like multi-platform?
Yeah.
And the other platforms, given the other types of games that are on those platforms, like push them to do something different with Pokemon overall, like the core games. Like would be on PS5, make those core games look completely different because the expectation on PS5 is for it to be more of a cinematic experience. Or like if they get on Xbox, for example, like because Xbox is all about like achievements and like online play, like does that change the dynamic of like a Nintendo Pokemon
I don't know,
Like that could change like the trajectory of these core games.
Yeah, I think
overall.
I think probably they're big enough to just be like, we're going to do what we're going to do. But
maybe they would want to, though.
It's worked out well for them to stay on this weaker hardware because they're trying their best, and sometimes those games look a little shaky still.
Yeah, that's true.
They're trying hard, but...
Yeah, that's true. It looks okay on handheld.
It looks all right. It looks okay.
It does look okay.
All right, well,
do your last
let's just do this last one,
Okay.
Speaking of going multi-platform, what if Nintendo gave up on hardware after the Wii U and they just said, "Nope, we're doing what Sega did, 10 years ago, and we're just giving up on hardware and we're just making software." And
oh my God,
that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. I feel like that would be so hard because Nintendo loves beyond anything control. Like, do you imagine them having like some kind of conversation with like the hardware holder, the platform holder about like a game that they're wanting to release, like their precious IP coming to PS5 or whatever? That sounds like a nightmare. Like just sounds like a nightmare for the PS5 people.
That's one of the things I wrote down is like some real growing pains adapting to not only different hardware, but more powerful hardware.
Yeah.
When the Wii U era, we heard of like, these teams are struggling jumping to HD graphics.
Yes.
And these games are taking longer and they're still learning, the ins and outs of the system. It's like, well, you made the system. So how did you not know? It should be easier than if you didn't. So that would be a real learning curve, I feel.
That would be so hard for them. Like, God, can they even do it? Because they're very resistant sometimes to like to this kind of development.
Yeah.
Where you're developing something, you're not developing like this idea and like you're building the idea to whatever it looks like on that particular hardware. It's almost like sort of powerful graphics first, and then you're then like shaping the idea to that, like, oh man, that would be really tough for them.
Yeah, and then I think also like you would just stop seeing these games like Ring Fit or Labo that were kind of built in tandem with the hardware because you just kind of couldn't do it, or you don't have that control over the hardware. You're not that hands-on with the hardware. It's just like you just got to make games.
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't see those kinds of innovations.
Yeah, which would be a shame.
Or like We Fit.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
The other thing too is I think Nintendo would lose sort of the toy quality that they have. Like they've always had this, obviously we're part of their history, but like if you just stopped making hardware altogether, I think you would lose like Amiibo, and you would lose like sort of that sort of, I don't know, like physical like toy side. You might even lose like a lot of the license deals that we do with like Lego and stuff like that. Yeah. Because that wouldn't just be a priority anymore. You would just want to focus on software, right? So
I do think the sales would explode though if they did this. Like Mario Kart 8 sold, tens of millions of copies.
Yeah.
But we would be in like Grand Theft Auto 5 territory if it was on
different platforms.
Multiple platforms.
That's true.
I feel like just people would flock to buy this stuff.
Yeah, you probably reach a much bigger audience too.
Right.
Like the people that would know about Mario Kart would be like it would be huge.
Right. And then my last person, I think there would be some really crazy bidding wars to try and get exclusives, knowing how lucrative these games are. But I think Nintendo would be like, no, we gave up on hardware. It's for everybody.
It's like
that's our whole philosophy is these games are for everybody.
Yeah.
So we do not want to deal with your exclusive. That's the kind of philosophical thing.
That would be like the philosophical,
I could see them going down.
like tower.
This is how we make ourselves feel good about this.
Yeah.
We're doing this for the world's good.
Yeah,
through gritted teeth.
There's got to be some. Again, they'd love the control.
Yeah.
They want to control it somehow. They're gonna control like this. Yeah. No kidding.
So again, I never sensed that this was actually happening, but in the doldrums of the Wii U days, it made you think of like, oh.
What if though? Yeah.
I don't know. How far were we from actually doing that? I don't know. But
yeah, I think there's always new hardware in development at Nintendo.
Right.
So even when one is failing, I think the mentality has always been, and I think maybe always will. Yeah. We'll see. And we don't know what the future holds. But I always feel like whenever that happens, it's always like, it's okay. Our next hardware will fix it.
Right.
That was always the sense I got, at least.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay, well, that is our what if scenarios. I would love to hear yours. Love to hear your opinions on these what ifs. And if you think that what we are discussing would be like what happens, or if you have a completely different take, like tell us. We want to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. On to the games we're playing.
Okay. Games.
The list is dwindling now.
We're very focused now, very focused.
All right. Why don't you start?
The dabble age is over.
Start with your big Xenoblade update here.
Yeah, I'm still going strong on Xenoblade.
Still playing it, yeah.
Still playing it.
I see we've reached the point where some people are like, yeah, I beat it. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel hopeful because maybe not be as long as we think.
That is true. So last week I put out some...
You were a little nervous.
Some concerns, some worries, and a lot of people came out to talk me off of those, which I do appreciate. If it's not that long, or there's a lot of stuff that you can either ignore or automate, so I'm feeling better.
That's the sense that I'm getting as well, because I definitely am very focused on the main story,
right?
And I want the story continues to be like really, really interesting and has really captured me, and I totally feel like. Even if you're a little shaky on what happened in 1 and 2, like, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have your very own Roger space.
I was just going to say.
As your personal.
You should just put that on the back of the box, that text. Just the screenshot of that text.
They should! Yeah, if you don't have your very own Roger space as your personal, like, Xenoblade expert, you still be fine. You sort of, I feel like I'm getting into a rhythm now a little bit about, like, what my, missions are and like where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's like the beginning was a lot of setup into the world that you're living in and like what's going on, getting to know sort of the characters in your party.
All right, who cares? Can we get a husbando update?
Lance is still my number one husbando. So hot. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now there's different outfits. Oh man. This game. It's great. It's really good.
Good?
It's excellent.
Is Lance a robot?
No.
He looks different than the other characters. And I've also noticed there's the characters who have the wings coming out of their heads.
There's other characters that look, it's like, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, okay. So that's a spoil thing. Okay.
It's like you kind
then don't say it.
Okay.
I'm just
But
asking.
no, I don't believe so. But they do say like, oh, you have such interesting markings. Like, so he must have like some.
Yes.
Like, he has like 2 tones on his like arms,
Okay.
and he has like on his face like markings or whatever. But yeah, you're now I'm like really like the world sort of opened up. And you're discovering all these new locations. I love the way that you discover these new locations too, because it really does feel like it kind of gives you like almost like a flyover view. Like this is the, whatever valley, and you can see like the different creatures there and the landscape, and it's really beautiful. And you're sort of getting to know these different colonies as you go through the storyline and understanding. Like it slowly kind of opens up like what's going on. But I definitely feel much more grounded in like, I get what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I know what my mission is. Like I'm getting to know all the different characters a little bit more, like understanding their backgrounds. You feel like more connected to them. So I really like this like slow build that they've been doing, and like it's really good. But yeah, I'm still playing on easy. You can change it anytime. So if you feel like it's too easy, then you can like change it to whatever. But it's been like great for me. Like I don't feel like I'm, like battling for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes I did feel like that in Xenoblade games. Like I feel like I'm able to get through it. And even the big more like boss fights.
Okay.
It feels good. It feels like I have to do something, but I don't feel like, oh no, I'm going to fail and I'm going to start over again or something.
Yeah.
And that would be bad. I wouldn't want that. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
I did start this, so I had said I had made a commitment to Live Alive that I would not touch Xenoblade until I finished Live Alive.
And then...
Well, we agreed to do this video today where it's like, well, I can't do a Xenoblade video where I have not played the game.
At all.
So last night I played the first hour or so of Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Just to get my feet on the ground in this world, which I'm glad I did, because that first hour does a really good job of setting up the world and, who are these people, what are they doing, and why is there this conflict. So I thought that was very well done.
And you got to the steamy bath scene.
I ended right after the steamy bath scene.
Oh man, the steamy bath is great.
It's very steamy in there. Conveniently placed steam clouds.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes. It kind of gave me a Dune vibe, where it's like this. It's almost like a sci-fi setting, and there's this endless conflict for this resource.
Mm-hmm. There's different colonies that you're kind of contending with.
That just seems to be like as old as time, but you're not quite sure why or the motivations for it. So I don't know. Maybe that's a completely off-base comparison. We'll see. I've only played the first hour or so.
Yeah.
You
do feel for these characters.
As somebody who abandoned half of the first Dune book, Dune audiobook, no less, you're well qualified to say that, I see.
I watched the movie.
Oh, wow, great.
I watched it. It's good.
Good for you. That was also based on half the book.
You said you were going to read the other half later.
When the next movie comes out.
That's what I said, too.
Okay.
I'll listen to the next half when the movie comes out.
I'll listen to the next half of the book, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to hold fast because I am at the very end of Live Alive.
Okay.
I don't think this is a spoiler. Again, this game's 20 years old, so I'm just going to say it. There's 7 main scenarios out of the gate.
Yes.
I have finished all of those.
Okay.
And then there is one more. I won't say
wraps
what it is.
It all up?
Well, I don't know, because so far it's just another story. So I don't know if there are... I don't know what the connections are to the other 7.
Because I was hoping for that. I was really curious about that piece of it.
Well, I haven't finished it, so I'll tell you when it happens. But
will it bring all of these different, very separate stories together? I'm just curious.
Yeah. And now that I finished the first 7, though, I really like this game a lot still. And again, it's basically the antithesis of Xenoblade, where it's so contained and just so quick paced. Like some of these stories are like an hour,
right?
And you move on. It does, again, always surprise me how modern it feels for a game that's 20 years old, but when you hit those spots of it feeling a bit more retro, you really feel it. Oh. So, the China area is a really cool story where you're this aging kung fu master, and you're trying to find your disciple who's going to carry on your mastery of kung fu.
Okay.
But near the end, you hit a point where it's just a dozen consecutive battles But you, as this maxed out leveled kung fu guy, these are easy battles.
Okay.
So it's like
boring.
This isn't even interesting for me to do these 12 battles in a row. So why is the game making me do it? But in so many other ways, the game feels like ahead of its time. So again, when you hit those spots, it's like, oh, I'm really feeling this now. But on the whole, I really love it. This game is a quick play. I'll probably be like under 20 hours by the time I finish it.
Oh, wow, that's really fast.
Yeah. So
I'm so shocked that it's not so as long as I thought.
Thank goodness.
And then are you gonna go back to Xenoblade then?
Yeah. After I finish this, which will be either tonight or the next day, I'll move on to Xenoblade.
Nice.
Back to that. And that'll be my main thing until Splatoon comes out.
Unless you don't buy Splatoon, because it's...
I'm probably going to buy Splatoon no matter what.
Really?
You, on the other hand, you're going to be playing Xenoblade.
I got burned with Strikers.
Till the end of... What's the comparison between Strikers?
It better be worth my money, is what it is.
Oh my gosh. Now that you got to buy a game, you're all picky.
I am. As I should be, as a discerning consumer.
As a consumer.
That's right.
I'm voting with my checkbook.
That's right. My tax return is for nothing.
My taxes. It all comes back to the taxes.
It all comes back to the taxes.
You wrote down As Dusk Falls.
I didn't play this game.
Oh, you didn't play it?
No, I didn't have time.
But you wrote it down.
I know, because I thought I was going to play it.
Oh, yeah. See, this is what happens. You're like, I'm gonna have a side game.
I know. I didn't side game this week, even though
it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Some people in our Discord played As Dusk Falls. They have a very high approval rating for that game.
I know. I want to play it. That's why I want to play it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it on this list as motivation.
And then the Mario Kart DLC is the last thing we played. Any deeper thoughts on that? Well,
do you have?
Well, I was just about to interrupt my own promptu. No, I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead. I'm so excited.
I did go ahead and play Mario Kart Tour this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Because I was playing again. So many of the courses are from Tour, and I think those are interesting courses. The way the path changes with each lap, is pretty interesting, and it's I'd say more complex than a typical Mario Kart map. I played Tour like when it first came out for maybe like a week, and then I just fell off, and I haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
So a lot has changed.
Right.
But I still don't love it, and it all comes down to the controls, which just don't feel... I'm sure I would get better if I stuck with it, but I'm just like, this is not feeling right.
Yeah. I mean, like, why would you play that when you can just play regular Mario Kart?
Especially now that the courses are coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I really expect, like, tight controls. Even if I'm getting hit with blue shells nonstop, I expect to have some degree of control over my driving, which I just didn't have in this.
Okay.
But, the game looks nice. Now they changed it. You can play it, vertical or horizontal on your phone if you want. That's important for some people. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot in there. So if you can get over that hump, maybe it's a great Mario Kart for you. I don't know. It's just not for me.
Yeah. I'm really picky with mobile controls.
Yeah.
Like, I really didn't like Pokemon Unite, the mobile version of that.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't mind that.
And even though that was like very easy controls of like moving with one hand and pointing with the other. The only game that I actually like mobile controls for is Diablo.
Yeah. So or if we're going like all the way to like Fire Emblem, where it's like it's literally like pointing an arrow.
Pointing an arrow, that's different.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, for like a game that's fast paced like Mario Kart, like it's hard.
Yeah.
My hands don't want to do that. But otherwise, I'm glad that these tracks are coming to the DLC, because I think I wouldn't really get to enjoy them any other way. But yeah, no, this new wave I thought was pretty good. I was surprised at the little dessert course, because we were both like, oh, it's kind of like Sweet Sweet Canyon.
That was neat.
Is it going to be like any different? But it actually was pretty creative.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Some people continue to be like unhappy with the scope of it, of like, oh, we're only getting like one maybe new course per pack, and it's just all these rehashed levels. I don't mind it. Seems like you don't mind it either.
I think I kind of like having, like, I hope eventually we'll just have everything in one place.
Yeah.
And then we can just build on that existing collection of levels.
Yeah.
Because it's true, like, sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I could play this track. I just give it all to me in one place. Yeah. And then I'll just play whatever I want to when I feel like, Yeah.
It was getting, some people were noticing with this update, they did update Coconut Mall so that the Shy Guys were, driving around crazily, which is good that they, felt compelled to update that.
Right.
I do appreciate that.
And you noted something with the music, too. You were like...
Oh, yeah.
And somebody agreed. They were like, oh, they should have done like a big band remix.
Yeah, they don't all have original music. That was a bit of a bummer for me.
That is kind of a bummer.
I mean, whatever song they use is going to be good, but it's like, I want that
like
new
the
song.
modern,
Yeah, I want something new. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was too bad.
Yeah. I see that they've already data mined the next wave. That's fun.
Very, very timely to our discussion of data mining last week.
Don't put it in there if you don't want them to find it.
Right,
That's what we said.
But I continue to be very happy with this. Again, it's not something I'm going to be playing nonstop until the next pack comes out. But I mean, I pick up Mario Kart randomly from time to time.
I do too.
So
yeah, it's like
I love it. Yeah,
it's nice to just have more courses to choose from when you decide to pick it up and play a quick online game or just kind of play a couple courses.
And again,
or whatever.
I'll always say this: Mario Kart 8 Online is not flashy, but it works.
It did work when we did the video.
Yes.
It was very good.
I mean, games today, like these games struggle to work or have basic functionality. It's like, I can't do a ton with Mario Kart, but I can do these races with 12 people, and that's really all I need.
I know we had like one person that kind of got a couple of disconnects.
Yeah, but they jump right back in, though?
Other than that,
no
I think everyone had a great time. It worked for everybody. It was 12 people. It was fun. It was like very quick and easy to set up.
Exactly. All right.
Good stuff.
On to the newsity news.
News.
We've only got 2 stories this week.
Yes.
And one of them is the Pokemon Presents news, which we already, of course, have our full reaction to. But we had a little bit of time to think about this a bit more. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to focus on the Scarlet and Violet news because I don't know about you, the other stuff I could kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah, it's like whatever. That's what we're here for.
So let's just go through some of the key things that they noted. And I think for me, some of these they seem interesting, but I want more information. Yeah. Like this first bit here about there being
the three
stories in the game.
Yeah, and one is the more like traditional fight the gym leaders, which I dislike. Don't come at me, people.
Yeah.
But sounds like there's 2 others that are not like that at all that could be new and interesting.
Yeah, I'm really interested in what they do because they seem to be hinting that the thing you are doing in those stories is going to be different. Right. But if we're talking about like a third of the game, I really would not want to be in a situation where it's like, hey, I really like doing this one and now I don't like the next thing that I'm doing. Yeah. It's unusual for a game to change focus throughout the whole experience like that. So
I do wonder if they were trying to find a way though to like satisfy the very traditional Pokemon players, right? Who like the format, right? Which is totally fine. But I hope it doesn't feel like super disconnected from like the rest of the game, right? But I personally am looking forward to like the other two stories or scenarios. I
don't know why I'm a little worried because I'm like you. I don't love the gym battles myself. Okay. So, I mean, I like doing other things in Pokemon more, which is probably why I liked Arceus so much.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I just want to know a little bit more about what those are going to be and how they're going to transition.
I was going to say, is it going to be like a hard stop? We're done with this story now, moving on to the next one, or is it like?
Yeah, how are they going to manage that? So
it's going to be your same character going through the same world.
So I'm cautiously optimistic about that.
Yeah.
Kind of in that same category is like this whole idea of like using these legendaries as vehicles, which must imply that you get it kind of early on.
I was going to say, like, that's really interesting because usually you kind of work up to getting the legendary, which also kind of sucks because usually after that happens, you're almost done with the game.
You're going to stop playing.
And you're not going to be able to interact with the legendaries a lot.
And I wonder, like, are these legendaries that you cannot take in battle? Are these legendaries that are kind of weak because you're early in the game? So obviously it's like, this is the most powerful Pokemon.
Yeah, you got to use that Master Ball to get it.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that. I am really happy it seems they're continuing all the mobility stuff.
I am too. And the transition, like before in Arceus, it was like you have to get different types of Pokemon to do the different mobility things. But it seems like these legendaries are like all-terrain vehicles. Like they can be motorcycles and also airplanes.
Can I get a basket to put my Miraidon in and stuff it in my back?
No, you are in the basket.
Oh, that's right. I'm in the basket. Yeah.
Your little eyes peering out from the basket.
Yeah. The look of these Pokemon when they're in some of those forms is a little strange.
It's like you got legs, but also wheels. So what's the point?
Transformery.
But like,
it's
why
like
do
a
you
living
still
creature?
have your legs?
I don't know.
If you're gonna be a motorcycle, then you got like tuck those legs.
I'll be honest. That was not my It's not my favorite design, but I think the idea is cool. Tuck the legs.
Tuck the legs.
Another thing I think is the multiplayer, where they said so little, but they were like, hey, go on these 4-player adventures.
It sounds like it's co-op.
Well, what does that mean?
I want to play
What can I do and what
Pokemon?
can I not do? I mean, you know there are going to be some limitations.
Well, like what? Why?
So it becomes like make or break of like how limited is
Why do you think there's going to be limitations, though? Why do you feel like that? What if it's just play the whole game co-op online?
You really flipped on this game from going like, this is an open world. And now you're like, I can do the whole thing with my 4 best friends, and you won't be one of them.
What? That is not what I said at all.
Are you over the hump of this game not being open world?
Not really. We'll see.
How can you say this?
I just want to know what the other storylines are. We'll have to see.
Oh
I'm not over the hump. But wait, what do you mean? How is one related to the other?
Well, this is, I mean, it's like, oh, can Game Freak pull this off? Is it, can Game Freak pull off a whole game that you can play multiplayer like this?
That seems much easier than making an open world game, but I don't know.
Game developer Krysta here.
I'm just saying, that's why my personal...
I'll answer your question in binary.
100010110.
I don't know. It just feels like I'm just bracing for some sort of a catch.
Why?
Where it's like, oh, it's only in this area, or
that better not be what it is.
You can only do this one thing. I don't know. I'm just bracing for it.
I want to play multiplayer, co-op, the whole game.
I would love it.
All 3 storylines.
I would love that.
Ride around on our motorcycle, untouched
you're like, well, there's only
legendaries.
2 legendaries. You can't use the legendaries because there's only 2 of them. So it's out of the lore of Pokemon.
Oh no!
See, they're gonna come up with something like that.
Like Elden Ring when you can't use.
Yeah, there's only 1 horse, so you can't use it. Break the rules. If you're gonna do this, break the rules.
It's like parallel universes. Everyone, we can get around all of this with multiverse.
We had to invent the multiverse so that we could have 4-player multiplayer in our game.
Exactly.
Now there's a multiverse of Pokemon.
My Pokemon are different than your Pokemon.
Now from 900 Pokemon to 900 million Pokemon.
Is it exponential in the multiverse?
Oh my gosh. Don't do that. And then there's some more straightforward stuff. Everybody loves Fido.
Oh my god, the Fido was so cute. Is Fido better than Smoliv?
I don't even know what that is.
It's like Tiny Olive.
From which game is that?
It's from this game.
Oh, okay, that's why. I made some
Smoliv.
I put out a comment that's like, Fido looks cute, but it's not really going to be viable once you get going. And it's like,
what if I have a whole team of cute,
and I saw all these people
Pokemon
respond to me like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the whole game this way. It's like, you're a better person than I am because that sounds fun to me, but that's going to require like a lot of grinding and a lot of just like...
Yeah, unless you don't have to.
Like, there's a lot of times where I end up using Pokemon that are powerful that I don't really like the look of, or like,
that's true.
But I just have to have you there.
Yeah,
because you're powerful.
There are some that it's like you like the look and they're powerful though. So it's like
Machamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Togepi, but okay.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what you want is one that you like every possible way.
Oh, every way.
Yes.
Okay. Smoliv?
I don't know.
I feel a personal attachment to Smoliv.
But it's annoying because they put so much of an emphasis on it and people lose their minds. And then when the game comes out, it's just like...
Lechonk?
Throw that in the trash heap because it's like, you can't... It's weak.
Fido. It's a great name, though. Doe!
It's like, I'm not going to get roped into this.
It looks like
I know what they're doing here. Your little website update's not going to sucker me in, Pokemon Company.
Aw, but it'd be cute to see them running around, at least, in the world.
I want somebody to make real Fido bread, though. I do want that.
You want to eat it?
Well, in our world, not in the Pokemon world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would like to eat that.
You can have a Smoliv, too. A Smoliv martini.
Enough with the Smoliv!
You can have a Smoliv martini. Shaken, not stirred. Don't shake that Smoliv.
Oh, my gosh.
You just don't like it when I say Smoliv.
We did the 3 Pokemon you would delete. People were angry with me.
People were angry with me.
Oh, really?
They do not
For what?
like the Rattata.
Oh.
People love the Rattatas.
Rattata it's a classic. That's what it has going for it. It's a classic.
But it's a rat, you guys. It's a classic rat. Who cares?
As you're wearing the Infinity Gauntlet on the wrong hand. No wonder you can't snap it. The thumb doesn't go in that hole.
I fixed it in the second version of the thumbnail.
You were very resistant to making that change.
I fixed it. I flipped it.
Stop snapping.
Smoliv.
The last. Oh, this is silly. These And how do you say this? Terrestrial?
Terrestrial
Terrestrial
form
forms?
transformation.
This is unnecessary. We can stop with these. These little gimmicky.
You mean the Swarovski crystal Pokemon?
But it's like, oh, it's Mega Evolution, it's Gigantamax, it's like, just stop. These little gimmicks you make for one game and then you go away. It's like, we're past this. We don't need this.
Flower on his head.
We're gonna care either way.
I don't understand the point of this.
Well, you can change your type, and you probably get some other little boosts, and and again, they can sell you their Swarovski.
They want to give you a Swarovski necklace.
They're not giving it to you; they're going to sell it to you for thousands of dollars.
It's going to be expensive. There was
really
a
expensive.
Pokemon, a Pikachu necklace that was like Swarovski that they had like last year.
Yeah,
it was like $12,000.
Right, and you bought it.
I did not. Why was it $12,000?
It's crystals. I don't know. Diamonds, crystals,
give me a break.
Precious stones and metals. I don't know.
Give me a break, okay? But yeah, they're gonna make you buy it. It's gonna be expensive.
Yeah. So overall, it's a pretty good update.
Yes.
I just need some more details on a few key spots.
We got a couple more months to go. They're gonna drip out a couple more of these.
Yeah.
I would say at least 2 more.
What are we at now? This is August.
Maybe
and
one
the
more.
games.
No, 2 more. I think 2 more.
1 to 2 more, and then they're going to shut the faucet off, and then the leaks are going to happen.
The leaks are going to happen, yeah. And then it becomes
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
Then it becomes panic over at Nintendo.
Yeah.
All right. Our next story is Nintendo's financials, which came out for, what period was this? This was like Q1. Q1 of this fiscal year, which is like 2023 fiscal year. It's confusing.
FY23
how they do
Q1.
This. So, some big updates here. They have sold 111 million Switch systems. That's easy to remember, 111.
Yes.
That's a big number.
Yeah. It's huge.
Switch sales were down, though, 22% year over year.
But it's a shortage, though.
But they said, attributed to the semiconductor shortage. Is it 100% that, though? No. I'm sure some percentage of that is.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, at some point, these sales have to slow down.
Yeah, people have it. So you're going to have to slow down. I mean, it's going to slow down naturally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, whatever. It's fine.
But why not say that then?
I'm going to say that the shareholders are
Don't lie about these semiconductors.
Tap their feet. They're gonna have to PR it a little bit.
All
Let's
right,
be real.
Fine. That felt a little too easy.
22% is kind of a large percentage.
That's why we've been dealing with these semiconductors for years now. It didn't just become an issue.
Supply chain?
I saw right through that. It's like, yes, some of it is that, but some of it is, what goes up must come down.
What percentage do you think is semiconductors?
I don't know, maybe it's half and half. I mean,
I sure hope it's more than half, because you can't say that about a percentage number and have it be not almost all the way true.
You can say whatever you want. What do you mean?
You can? Yeah. I didn't know that.
I dropped the semiconductors down the drain and they're gone when I was taking a shower. Oh no! What am I going to do?
They fell off the back of my car, and then my car got broken into, and then I lost them.
All right.
They're gone.
We got some sales number. One of these is very surprising. Kirby and the Forgotten Land sold 4 million. I think that was like the fastest selling Kirby game ever.
That's
well deserved. Switch Sports 4.8 million. I was surprised at that.
You were?
It's pretty high for a game that didn't seem to make that much of an impact, and people seem to have completely forgotten about.
Yeah, I guess it has the Wii Sports legacy. Do you think people remember it?
No.
Oh.
Like really? Now? No.
Or do you think people are looking for just like a real casual game to add to their library?
Maybe.
Because there's not many of those.
There's not? There's a lot of games for Switch.
I know, but like that kind of game? Like, what
know.
else is there? Like, maybe Mario Party?
Mario Party, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, you still have to press a lot of buttons.
Oh,
I guess you can do the baby steering, but you have to press a lot of buttons. Grandma is not going to be playing Mario Kart.
Came around on Switch Sports.
Grandma's going to bowl.
And then Mario Strikers Battle League, 1.9 million.
Okay. I have nothing to compare this to, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about that one.
What is the benchmark?
Seems pretty good.
It seems all right.
Yeah. You divide that up against 3 main markets.
I wonder how much Mario Golf sold.
Well, that game's a little old now. I mean, that was like over a year ago.
So you can't really compare that.
So it's hard to say. Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, not a crazy huge update, but these are always interesting to see what's going on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of it for the news this week.
That's it. No more news. It's kind of a lot though. It's a lot of bigger, more substantial updates happening.
On to our questions, though. I'm very happy with these questions.
Oh boy.
This week.
Okay. As usual.
Yes.
Questions from our wonderful Patreon community. And we've gotten some new people
asking first-timers in here.
Questions because you can join at our level 1 tier and start asking us all your questions and get featured in the podcast, which is super fun. And we love your questions. Yeah. So keep them coming.
All right, first question's from Cerulean Dragon 37. Hey, Kit and Krysta, as we all know, both 3DS and the Wii U had a rough launch. However, the 3DS eventually took off, while the Wii U obviously never did. Why do you think this is? Also, at Nintendo, do you remember what the tipping point was for when the Wii U went from, oh, this is having a rough launch, it'll get better, to this console is a disaster? So 2 questions here. Let's answer the second question first.
The tipping point question?
The tipping point, yes.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, no, please.
No, go ahead. Oh. You sound like you know.
Well, so the launch, like the immediate launch was fine. And it was kind of in line with what everybody was expecting.
Right, exactly.
But then we started to get into that holiday. Remember, it came out in like November.
Right.
And those numbers were a little soft. And then after that holiday break...
It kind of like...
It was, we need to do an emergency Nintendo Direct where we announce every single game...
coming.
...for years into the future.
Right.
Which is not something we normally do.
Because I think that was like a pretty strong indicator where it was like after the holiday, the numbers came back and we sold like 2.
So that's a really fast to fall off a cliff like that in a holiday season.
Yeah, the panic was pretty real in January of that year, though.
Yeah, I mean, games in that Direct, like some of those games didn't actually come out until like the end of the generation.
Yeah.
So it was just like, what do we got? What can we announce?
Smash is coming. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, like I remember it was like, oh, we have a collaboration, Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
And that game didn't come out for years.
It was like 3 years later.
Was that a fever dream? Did that happen? So there was some real worry about that.
And then there was like a lot of, I think in those first 3 months of that following year, it was like a lot of like conjecture. Like, we don't know why this is happening. Let's just like everyone panic and think about like reasons why this is failing.
Yeah.
And that's when the whole name confusion discussions were happening. Remember, we were like, there were so many meetings about like, nobody knows that this is a new console. Everyone thinks this is an accessory for the Wii, and people are confused. What do we do? And there was like so many campaigns around that.
We got tagged in this weekend into a Twitter conversation with John Cartwright, who had found this ridiculous infographic for Splatoon and Paper Mario Color Splash, which reminded me of another infographic that was the Wii and Wii U.
And then there was like check marks, like this has this has this.
That was embarrassing. Honestly,
but that was those meetings. Remember those? We had those weekly meetings.
There was a time where it was like this infographic's going to solve all of our problems.
Nintendo's again. They're like number 1, like silver bullet is an infographic.
Let's make an infographic. Yeah.
I know what will help us. An infographic.
Yes.
I'm like, really?
We're digging out of this hole.
We're gonna do it.
The first half of this question, though, why were we able to flip 3DS and not the Wii U?
I do think that there was less confusion about what the 3DS was. People weren't like super on board with the 3D part of it, which was like the differentiating factor that I guess Nintendo was selling at the time. But it was pretty easy to like shift that message and just talk about the games coming for it and like stuff that you can only play on 3DS and not even talk about the 3D that much anymore. Because towards the end of, or like the middle of 3DS marketing, we rarely marketed the 3D part of it.
Right.
But people were not confused about like what this was, though. They knew it was a handheld. They knew it was the newest handheld. So we didn't have any of those issues. And it was a lot cheaper, too.
I think there were just more things we could do to, change the story and get people interested. Like the price, like in Reggie's book, he noted he wanted to launch at a lower price.
Yeah.
So that was definitely in the realm of possibility,
exactly.
A lower price. Whereas with Wii U, I think that would have really sunk deep into,
I don't think you can do
into
it.
the profits where they just couldn't do it right away.
Right.
So right away, big price cut for 3DS. there were also like so many different here's the 3DS XL, and there were all these different versions of the hardware that came out. Whereas like there was never a revision of the Wii U.
Right.
It was always just
that was it.
Just that.
Yeah.
So I just think there were more things that we were able to do to change the perception of that. With the Wii U, it was just kind of like, well, it is what it is. Like
that's the thing. Like there was also more features of the 3DS that you could talk about.
Yeah.
That were already part of the 3DS that we kind of overshadowed like in the beginning because we were talking about the 3D part of it. But as soon as we learned that wasn't working, it was easy to like just talk about some of the other great features of a handheld like that you would want anyway, you know?
I mean, there's also, like, honestly, there was less competition for a dedicated handheld gaming system.
That's true,
I mean, that was the Vita.
Right.
And that way, or it was like play something on your phone. Whereas like the Wii U was up against like PlayStation and Xbox, which are like great systems.
Yeah.
So if you're really not cutting it, then you're going to be at the bottom of that list.
Right.
So it just had all the cards stacked against it.
Exactly.
Benjamin Rivers asks, fellow question from a fellow oldster.
Oh
this is addressed to you. Jinx. Did you ever trade game systems when you were young?
Oh, man.
I used to swap consoles with friends in Television and Atari, NES and Master System, SNES and Genesis to try out the games on other platforms.
I never did this.
I didn't do this either.
I would never let anyone take my system.
Yeah,
I don't trust them.
That seems like a big...
You really trusted your friends, Benjamin Rivers.
What I did do is a few times I rented systems.
I did that too,
like
from Blockbuster.
Blockbuster would let you rent, and it would come in like this crazy,
like a little case.
You'd think it's like a suitcase you would fill with money.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was like I feel like Nintendo used those kinds of cases. Like what are they called?
Yeah,
like
the Pelican
cases.
Yeah, or it's got like a sniper rifle inside of it,
and they're gonna like
put it together. Yeah,
yeah.
So I remember I rented a Virtual Boy.
Oh.
Which was terrible.
I think I rented a Genesis before.
I rented a Genesis too to play the X-Men game on the Genesis.
Yes, the X-Men game was good.
Which was cool. But no, I would never do that.
I was like, my stuff is my stuff. You can't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No
yeah, so great that you have just stolen things from me that I have let you borrow.
Gave.
So trust is gone.
Gave to me.
You know what else is ruined besides pants? This trust that we had.
Hashtag
gone.
trust is ruined?
Hashtag trust is broken. Pants are ruined and trust is broken.
Poopy trust?
Moving on now. Courtney, have either of you ever requested a day off of work because it was the release day of a highly anticipated video game for you and you wanted to be able to have the freedom to binge it on launch day? If yes, which game was it?
Yes.
Really?
I took time off right after Switch launched for Breath of the Wild.
You did?
Yeah, I had like a long stint leading up to the launch of Switch because I was doing the launch stuff.
You were,
and I was trapped.
You were on the road like
Aspen
crazy.
And I was gone for like 2 weeks. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was like, perfect. I'm gonna take like 4 days off. I think I took the week off afterwards. And I was like, I have my Switch.
Yeah.
I have Breath of the Wild, and I'll just like lay low and do that. And I think I actually got sick like afterwards because I was so like travel weary.
That can happen a lot, where your body is just like holding something off because you need to get through it, and then when you let your guard down,
oh my gosh,
immediately sick.
Yeah, that happens to me after E3 a lot too.
Yeah.
Like after your body's finally like, oh, I can rest now. Oh, thank God, I'm gonna let all my immunity will come immediately.
It's funny how that happens.
You actually want to die. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did get a little sick, and so I was just like stayed in bed all day and played Breath of the Wild. But I am not opposed to this. I think some other people took time off to play like Smash when it first came out on our team.
Yeah.
There's people that took like a couple of days off to play. I remember people taking time off to play Fire Emblem. Yeah, this definitely happens. This definitely happens.
I've actually never done this. I think a lot of times because the game I would
gotta get to work.
Well, the game it's like. I was working on it, so it's like that's actually a really busy time. Is like the week or two after a big game comes out too.
It is true.
Like you get asked to do a lot of things. We need this reporter, or we need to.
It's a lot of reporting.
Or people don't like this thing. We need to do something to change the perception. It's like it's really annoying.
It's super annoying.
And you're just like tired and over it, but it's like no, we need to go. I need these 20 reports. So I've actually never done it. Sounds like fun though.
You should do it now.
Yeah, I could.
You can take time off from this.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Next podcast, I won't be here.
Why? What are you going to play?
We'll be playing Splatoon 3. Sounds like you're going to have plenty of time on your hands because you're not. So you can.
We don't know.
You can do it all by yourself. We'll see how it goes.
We're going to see on Wednesday if it's going to be worth it or not.
Tank. DMC.
I like the profile picture of the dog.
Yeah.
So cute.
I'm a big user of the capture button on my Switch and love going back over the images after finishing a game. In my playthrough of, and the way he spelled this here really threw me for a loop. But I guess in the box it does kind of look like this. Live alive, but it's in this the second live is spelled backwards. It says evil.
Live evil.
Which is live backwards. The capture function was disabled in the final chapter.
I hate it when that happens.
This is the first time I've experienced this in a game, which I assume is to prevent spoilers. What other reasons why a developer or publisher would do this, and what's your view on this? This is classic Square Enix.
This is so classic Square Enix.
This is so annoying.
Pokemon Company does this too, though.
Oh, they did that too,
For the Arceus
Yes.
ending. I was jamming that button.
You get like a cute little drawing.
I took a picture of my phone of the screen.
That was
but I was
so
really
annoying.
mad.
Come on.
Why, though? I'm with you.
It's definitely anti-spoilers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, get over it.
I mean, people are going to
We live in the world where the internet exists.
Yeah. You're going to stream it. So why not? Let me take a photo.
Annoying.
I get really annoyed with this too. And I wish also that the Switch was a little bit easier for me to share the images.
What do you mean?
That's not like, let me scan 2 QR codes.
Oh.
Like, just make it easier. But whatever.
Well, how would they do it?
I don't know. It's just hard. Just want to save it on Switch.
It is funny how, I actually think that whole capturing, posting, sending is easier on the Switch than other systems.
No, it's easy on PS5.
I think the PS5 one's pretty good.
It's really good on PS5 because it just goes into your app.
Yeah.
The app is really good, and you can just like save your screens or your videos.
All right. But yeah, people they should not let people do that. It's all fair game.
Oh, you mean like they should just let people capture everything?
Yeah. What do I need to put on a blindfold for this ending? I can't even see it. You can't be exposed to this. You can't handle it.
I do remember this really funny conversation that I had with Mr. Anuma one time. We were at like the Zelda Symphony.
Yeah.
And it had been like a long time since like Skyward Sword came out, and he was like, "Oh wow, that first scene just showed the ending, huh?"
Uh-oh.
It's a spoiler.
Shut it down.
And I looked over at him like, "Dude, this game is really old." And he was like, "Okay, fine." Like he was pretty reasonable about it, but he definitely had like a visceral like reaction to. It was this game was like 5 years old at this point.
Right.
Like, I think people would know, dude. Like it's okay.
Square Enix won't let me screenshot an ending, but now they got Final Fantasy on the PC. Now I'm seeing these characters in raunchy costumes. One's better than the other? Come on.
Can you screenshot that?
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
It's too raunchy. All right.
Okay.
Floey asks, hi guys, how is Nintendo's attitude towards GameStop selling used games? I remember that companies didn't like that GameStop would sell their games used because they felt that it cut into their sales, while GameStop got to keep 100% of the profits on used game sales. Also, did Nintendo ever plan to do anything to incentivize the purchase of a new game during that time? Like when BioWare gave free DLC for Mass Effect 2 if you bought it new, or how EA would include online codes to play their games online if in new copies only. EA was like tied into knots over this for some reason.
Oh yeah.
They had the Project $10.
Oh, the $10.
Where it's like you have to buy another thing so that you can. This was ridiculous.
But they had so many of these like retailer things at Nintendo too, all the time. Remember that thing that was always
like what?
Whenever we had like some campaign that we were doing for some marketing campaign, somebody's idea was always we could do a trade up program.
Oh yeah.
That was always someone's idea. It's like let's incentivize them by like taking their old games to GameSpot and they can like GameStop and then they can trade it up for like the new game or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, seriously?
We didn't get as worked up over as some of these other companies.
We didn't.
Because there was an era, like they note here, where it got really ridiculous.
It did.
The relationship with GameStop is interesting. Because, I mean, GameStop just seems like a real shaky company overall. But at the same time,
you like need them.
They are the main games retailer, game specific retailer. You got like Target and Best Buy, but like as far as where people go to buy games, it is GameStop. So it was like, oh, we got to put up with this. I feel like part of the introduction of DLC was kind of hooked into this of like, well, if you have this game where you've bought this digital thing, you're going to feel less incentivized to get rid of it because you're not getting any money back for that, and you've already paid for it.
paid for
so you're kind of stuck with it.
And then there was that whole thing with like the digital sales that became like an issue. It's like, well, how do we make it so they don't feel like bad about these digital sales?
Right. It was like, well,
that's too bad for them.
Well, we got to keep the retailers happy, even though we're moving in this digital direction.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, well, you can buy a code at GameStop, which I don't know how many people honestly do that.
Well, we had someone that worked on like the package design for digital codes.
Right. Which
is like, that's like a lot.
Yeah, those whole first couple years of the eShop, I really didn't like those because there was a lot of weird stuff like this.
Yeah.
It was just a weird transition.
It's still, I think it's still pretty, there's still like a lot of like shakiness there.
Yeah.
Even to this day. Yeah.
Frulio has a question. Are there any games that you were really amped to work on because they were so innovative and ahead of its time? Do you have any insights into what it was like to develop those games? Kit mentioned Lunar Nights and its predecessor Boktai, which has a built-in solar sensor that affects in-game environments. Well, my pick for this is actually a game that I didn't really play and didn't really work on, but it's Labo.
Yeah.
Because I was honestly floored at the concept for this, and the difference between me hearing the idea and me actually seeing it was so different and so much better than even I had imagined. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe just how innovative that was.
Yeah.
Again, though, not something I really wanted to do, build those things.
Right.
Or really play with them. But, and I think a lot of people felt that way because it didn't sell that well.
Right.
But as far as like, wow, Nintendo just doing something crazy and original, like that is my go-to answer.
That one is interesting because they really did put so much like developer, like coding stuff in there that I feel like a very small amount of people experience that. But it was so deep. Like I didn't know how to do any of that stuff because it's not my cup of tea. But like if you wanted to like really go deep on that, you could make like a full-fledged game using the system they have in Labo, which is really interesting. Yeah.
And it was one of the original Splatoon developers who was kind of leading it.
Yeah.
And I remember we had a big event, and we were all in Arizona. They flew us out. And it was like an offsite for marketing people.
Yeah.
And we were talking about all sorts of stuff, but it was like, all right, this whole day we're going to be playing Labo, and you're going to finally get your hands on it before it comes out, and you're going to learn about it. And that developer was there. Mm-hmm. Like he flew out just to show us about it. And I remember they had like armed guards, literally guards with guns outside that room to make sure
the cardboard pieces.
Nobody shall see.
They counted the cardboard pieces before we left to make sure nothing fell in our purses.
Nobody shall see the cardboard.
Jackets.
Oh my gosh.
And it was really funny because it was almost like a focus group for him.
A little bit,
because he was like watching us behind like a two-way glass thing or something.
Right.
As we put it together.
So yeah, like there was a lot of effort and energy around that launch, and unfortunately just didn't pan out, but very unique.
Yeah. My pick is that Mario Kart Home.
Oh, Mario Kart Home Circuit.
Home Circuit. I was like,
that's another great one.
Whatever. That was one that I was like, this is going to be stupid because it's just some like RC car.
Yeah.
But the way that they integrated the camera into that was like so genius. And I remember when I first like brought that home to like check it out, and like I think we were preparing for a video, so I was trying to like make sure everything worked.
You did a great video with it.
And I was just like blown away about how fun something like that could be, just because they added in all these little things that make you feel like you were really on like a Mario Kart course.
So fun you only played it once.
But that's the thing. Like it's kind of like the Labo thing. It's like that initial moment of delight is there, but it is hard to like get all the stuff out and like set it all up. Just like with Labo, there's like a huge barrier of like getting all the cardboard out and doing a thing. But yeah, that moment of like, this is much cooler than I imagined was totally there.
Yeah, I would say those two have a lot in common.
Yeah.
I think also like those really do embody the Nintendo ethic of like toys versus games.
That's the thing too.
But if you're going to have this thing,
like
they're too expensive to be toys. Like I forget how much the Mario Kart thing was, but
it was like $100.
It was pricey, and like those Labo sets were pricey too, and especially considering
those were like $70 each.
Considering that it's just cardboard,
I know.
I think that was part of the problem.
Yeah, that could be tough. Yeah. My dog really liked the cart.
Oh, the
Chowder.
Cart. Oh no!
Chowder wanted to like eat that cart. He was like grabbed it and like
no.
was like batting it and stuff. It was really cute. It was super cute.
Grouchy M asks, "Hi Kit and Krysta, congrats on making the big 25 episode anniversary last week. Thank you. You previously mentioned that modern Nintendo has a lot more restrictions in place now regarding not allowing executives to be as public-facing as Reggie and Satoru Iwata were previously. I've also noticed this as well. We hardly ever see Doug Bowser or Shintaro Furukawa, and we certainly don't see them acting as wacky as Reggie and Iwata-san did. I was just wondering if you had any insight as to why Nintendo holds their executives back now. One of my favorite things about Nintendo previously was how willing their executives were to interact with fans, and I'm sad that it's over now. Thanks, and I love the podcast and the show."
Great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit here and there, but yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons. You know, as we were leaving Nintendo, we certainly were feeling this pretty significant shift. Absolutely, when Reggie retired, it was like, well, now we finally can close that door, which was a little bit sad. But you know, I got the sense, and we were getting the sense as we were like proposing different projects and stuff like that, that Nintendo was just so anti, like, have one person be the face of something. Like, even with our developers, like, they were like, no, it has to be like game first, like product first, and like humans second.
And we would hear a lot, you know, their job is to make games, not to be some spokesperson in a video.
Right.
Which, true, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of unique insight and perspective that only they can give, which is a huge loss to not get.
Right.
But if that's your mindset,
then it's not like untrue.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly, I mean, Doug Bowser, I mean, he has that Reggie mindset of like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. So it's certainly not, you know, for lacking of him wanting to do something like that. Oh,
you mean like on the openness to doing wacky things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like Doug Bowser is this stodgy guy who's like, no,
not at all. And he's actually shown a lot of interest in doing stuff, but I think
he hasn't been able.
Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions now, especially from Japan, that really just like prevents any sort of individual to represent the company in any way.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I agree. I think it's like a little bit unfortunate, and I do miss that as well, because it is really tough to like build a connection to something when you don't realize that there's like real people behind it. Even with games, I understand like the developers are really focused on making their game, and that's awesome, but like you want to hear from like the human that's behind this and their unique perspective and their inspirations. Like, it makes a big difference to like the person playing, you know? So
this is a great question for us to ask Reggie when we see him at PAX in a few weeks.
Yes, we'll ask him. Yeah. I'm sure he'll give you the similar answer, but yes.
MarkyMan64 has our next question, and he asks, what has been some of your favorite DLC, paid or free, and why? Do any turn a poor game around for you? What about the opposite? Have you ever got DLC that was hyped, as it turns out well beyond what could be delivered?
Oh, I like the Breath of the Wild DLC a lot.
That's one that came to mind for me, and it stands out. You know, A, it's good.
Yeah.
But B, like when we were hearing about it first, like there was so little structure to it. It was like, well, we're gonna do some stuff. But for some reason, they wanted to start selling it right away.
Right. It's like, get the 2-pack.
And my position was like, what are we even selling these people? And why do we need to sell it now if it doesn't exist?
Yeah.
So I was worried, honestly, that this would just be some cheap cash-in or really flimsy. So I was really happy with that whole quest that you got.
Yeah. I thought that was smart, the way the DLC was structured. Like, one was very, like, sort of additional gameplay based.
Yeah.
And then one was very story based, because I think that game, I wanted more story from Breath of the Wild. Like all of those memories that you unlock, they showed like such emotional like scenes that you previously really haven't seen in a Zelda game. So I was happy to get some of those. My only disappointment with that DLC is that I wish I had the Master Cycle earlier in the game.
Oh yeah.
Because it's so cool, and I love when we were talking to the developers, they were like, I just really wanted to put a motorcycle in this game, and Mr. Nima finally let me.
That was so funny.
Nice. So I think that's awesome. Like, this person clearly had a passion to do this, and he like got to do it. But it's like, oh, I wish I had it earlier, because that'd be so cool to ride around in that motorcycle more when I was doing the main game. You know? So But that was one where I was like really happy with not just like the one part of it, but I thought the two together was really perfect.
Yeah, yeah. The other one that came to mind for me was one of the Witcher 3 DLCs, which again I played the version on Switch that had it built in, so I think I just finished the main game and went right into that. There's a bigger DLC for Witcher 3 that I think people like better just because you get this whole new area. But the smaller one I actually liked better because it just had a really interesting story where I'm trying to remember the details, but there's like this person who's trapped in a spirit form.
Oh.
And they take over Geralt's body so they can like return to the physical world for one last time.
Oh, wow.
And you spend this night at this wedding. And it's just like a really great storytelling, like slice of life stuff of like, what would you do if you had one more night on Earth kind of thing. And it's just really unique and well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say some DLC that I typically don't go for is like the Assassin's Creed DLCs.
Oh, yeah.
Or like the Horizon DLCs. Because I feel like they do such a good job of containing the story, the main story in the main game. And it's such a long experience already. Like, I don't feel like I need to have DLC. And I think the only game that I'm interested in DLC that's like that type of like big long game is Elden Ring. Like I would play some Elden Ring DLC.
Doesn't exist.
I know, but if it did exist, I would
that's
play
true.
it.
Like
that's like the same kind of experience that I usually have with Assassin's Creed, where I'm like, I'm kind of done with this. But I feel like I would go back to that world. Like,
with games of that size, unless the DLC is like right there as you're playing it, you just kind of need a break.
Exactly.
And then at some point, who knows when you're coming back.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to go back to those games after I stop. But I feel a little bit different about Elden Ring, which I feel like I can go back to.
Yeah. Riven asks, what are your thoughts on Ring Fit Adventure? Have you tried it? Do you play it regularly as part of a workout routine? What are some of your favorite and least favorite exercises or activities? Would you like to see a sequel?
Oh, boy.
We've tried it.
Yes, we've definitely tried it. You've played it, like, for exercise.
We did that in a video where my pants almost fell down. Because I had a mic thing stuck to the back.
I thought you were going to rip your pants again.
And I was running around and the pants started falling.
Oh, no, the pants! Yeah. Your pants are going to get ruined.
Oh, no.
But you've also did it for some exercise, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's legit a challenging workout.
Yeah, it's super hard.
So, I mean, that's what really separates it from what I would say, like, Wii U.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do it daily.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do, though, and they, like, say that it's awesome.
Andre of Game Explain.
Yeah. Yeah. He's ripped, so
he's absolutely, devoted to that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But, no, I think it's a great game. I would love to see a sequel. Hopefully we do see one. I remember when this game was coming out, I was like, well, so it's an exercise role PG, and I don't know if people who want an RPG want the exercise stuff, and I don't know if people who want the exercise stuff want the RPG stuff. Part, But it just happened to be a good...
It's cute.
They executed it well.
They executed it well. Yeah, I definitely like played it for, when we were doing the videos. I've tried it a couple of times. I'm not a big like exercise using a video game type of person. Like I never really liked Wii Fit either. Like I kind of like to keep those two things weirdly separate in my life. Like I actually enjoy going to the gym or going out for a run, like outside.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I like going to a yoga class, like a real yoga class. So like I kind of don't like, if I'm gonna work out, my first pick would not be to do it in like a video game form. But I think this is a great idea, and like I know a lot of people legitimately think it's great, and it actually does, like they see it results from it. So I think that's awesome.
Definitely a lot of like awkward office demos for this, where the person's just like sweating or like like wheezing through it. Or
I had to do a lot of sit-ups once for a demo.
Or it's just like calling like, you do this now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not dressed to do this. I'm in like
heels.
office clothes. Like, no, do it.
Like, here, hold this plank position. I'm like, oh boy. Like shaking.
Yeah. Our last question is from Simon. What's the game you have the most hours on the Switch? What's the story / explanation / excuse for it?
Oh, excuse.
No excuse needed. I do not know off the top of my head, but there's two that come to mind.
Yeah. Probably one is Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's One of mine?
Yeah, and I don't know if I need an explanation or excuse.
I think we all have the same explanation for that.
We were in a pandemic and we played every day. And
you had to stay at home.
And that was the only thing that kept us sane.
Right.
So yeah, there's that. It was cute though, because we used to send each other a gift every single
day. A letter, yeah.
I have like so many messages in my
Then one day we just stopped.
We both stopped. No, I remember when we stopped, you were like, I have something to tell you.
Oh.
I think I'm going to stop playing.
Yeah.
Because you were logging on just to send the gift, and I was too, and I was like, oh, thank God. Because I also wanted to stop, but I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah.
So that one.
What if we just kept going? It's like, I don't think I ever want to talk to you again. See ya. And then you were like, yeah, I feel that way too. And then we just never connected ever again after that.
Oh, that's so
That could have happened.
That could have been the empty office.
I was just going to say, yeah.
You just want to get rid of me.
No, jeez.
You do. So mean.
It's a hypothetical. The other game for me is probably Mario Kart 8.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's a game that's so easy to go back to and play in short bursts. Like, I think I'm definitely in the hundreds of hours for that. Even though it's like I would be like, oh, I'll probably play that for like 50 hours. It's
way over.
Way higher than that.
I think mine is Dragon Quest Builders is my other
What?
I played a lot.
No.
I think I have like over 200 hours in Dragon Quest Builders.
I never knew this.
Yeah, I love it.
Really?
I love Dragon Quest Builders. I was deep.
You've never talked about this game to me.
I have too. I talked about that a lot. You were not interested.
I mean, a little bit, but not.
Because you weren't interested.
Not like 200 hours.
About Dragon Quest Builders.
Whoa!
I would like to play another Dragon Quest Builders game.
Holy moly! Okay.
Horizon, please.
Wow.
Let me play.
That's surprising.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of hours. I mean, you can get real sucked into like doing the little things in there. You know.
Yeah.
Great questions as usual. Oh my gosh. It's so nice. I love this. I love seeing the new people. And the questions are always so like smart.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always like, this is really impressive. All right.
It's time.
We have to move on because we have a special double shout out section of the podcast.
This is what we have from here on.
Yeah, we have our superstars and then we have One Up Club graduation.
Right.
So we're going to start with the superstars.
All right.
Can I go first?
Please.
Here we go. Aaron Hash.
Jordan Collette.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Paul Gale Network.
Rain Tech.
Redbird.
Roy Eschke.
Simon Barrera.
Switching it up _
The Shark Among Men.
And VGM Life.
Woohoo!
Hooray!
It's our hot dozen of superstars.
I like how there's some people who moved up from the One Up Club, some people who are brand new.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a great mix.
We got some wonderful graphics to accompany them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their cute little faces are me's.
That's right.
Love it. All right, here we go. One Up Club graduation ceremony.
This is it. Yes.
I'm going to start again.
Okay.
Aaron Burgundy.
Adam Edwards.
Jean Malari.
Ale Alejandro.
Alexandra Pratt.
Angela Bycroft.
Bagel.
Ben Eichhorn.
Bettina Tsane.
Book'em Dano.
Brad SF56.
Candace Roper.
Chancellor Fairley.
Christopher Lay.
Cozy Tar.
Captain Cinnamon Buns.
Captain Alex.
Daniel Valencia.
Dachshund.
Doodoo Face.
Douglas Chomix.
Ducatista.
Dustin E.
Dino Punch.
Eigenverse.
Elite Peach.
Esparts 50.
Ezrato.
Furbound.
Fred Rossi.
Gar.
Garrett Hullfish.
Handsome Warrior.
Ian Shea.
Israel Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jabroni.
Oh, I messed this one up. It's actually Jabroni Jones. Excuse me.
Okay.
I have to apologize to Jabroni Jones.
Jabroni Jones.
Jackie Z.
JK99.
JBJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Jesse Hernandez.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joseph DeHaze.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Just Camtro.
Kai Commercio.
Kawa 2796. Kevin Delane.
Oh, you have to say it.
You gotta say it.
No, I don't want to.
Fine, Kitterati, dance with me!
No! K Madman TV.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle LaBouffe.
Kyler Nelson.
Linnell Stickman.
Lego My Froggo.
Link. Hashtag Kristarati. I said it anyway.
Yay!
Take your medicine.
Lit.
Lucas Pico.
Luis.
Malfarink.
Mamu.
Marcelo.
Marky Man 64.
Maru Mayhem.
Matthew Rewalt.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Michael Mazer.
Mikey.
Murph.
My Tran.
Nasir.
Nonarb.
Panda Buns.
Patreon user.
Piano Psychopath.
Prince Charmless.
PS Wee.
Raver.
Rad State of Mind.
Ray Chiron.
Ryuji Utsuho Okuu.
RJ Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Ryan Netta.
Sam Nealand.
Faison.
Shinryu.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Thomas Alvarez.
Troopage.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Roddy Geistopian. Oh my goodness. Wow.
I like that one. Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Zoodiverf.
Zen.
Wow.
If only you guys could write a story with your names and make us read it. Like a poem. Like a
I mean, that sounds like something we should do and not them.
Like, maybe do it together. That'd be fun. Okay, we can do it.
Do a Mad Libs where you fill in the blanks between all the names. Yeah.
And then I got in a car with Schmiggles. And then
the driver was Linnell Stickman.
And then we had some delicious Video Game Stupid for lunch. That could be really fun, actually. Okay. This is it. We got to stop.
This is it.
Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Thank you to our wonderful Patreon subscribers. We're so happy to have you with us. If you are wanting to join, we are at patreon.com/KitandKrysta. The universe, the community is
growing,
expanding, and we love it. It's awesome. Don't forget to follow us on all the social channels. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We're on our way to 50K. And remember,
Sonic episode.
Sonic Week.
More than just an episode.
50K.
Sonic
so
Week.
subscribe. Tell your friends. And we'll be back next week.
And thank you to our beautiful sponsor, Slick Deals.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Yes?
Bye.